you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, you know, and we are actually.
Wait a minute. Did the President of the United States just imply that he is saving the world from a satanic cult of pedophilic cannibals? I guess we gotta talk about QAnon now. Okay, here's the big picture. This collection of message board posts, or Q drops, is allegedly the product of a high-level military intelligence dissemination operation. These messages were posted on 4chan by an anonymous user who claims to be a small team of high-ranking military people, including President Trump himself. The Q team is on a secret mission to save the world from an evil cabal. But this great battle of good versus evil is so precarious and significant that it must be kept a secret and handled with the utmost discretion. QAnon gives hints and clues to help a select group of anons uncover the hidden truth of reality. But when the time is right, the truth will be revealed to all, including you, dear viewer. And then there will be mass arrests of these evil villains who were hiding in plain sight. Many of these villains, it shall be revealed, are beloved Hollywood actors, musicians, celebrities, and prominent politicians. Their crimes are so unfathomably horrible that the vast majority of people are simply incapable of accepting it. But that's where the Anons come in. Because of their autism, yes, this is an essential part.
Be the artists we know you are. You were chosen for a specific reason.
They are capable of connecting the dots and understanding the truth. These Anons can help the rest of America to process the revelations themselves. Q and his followers are trying to raise our collective levels of consciousness in order to finally do battle with the evil forces that secretly control our nation and the world. So now you're probably wondering, is that actually true? Well, friend, that's what we're gonna talk about. Now that we've glanced upon the mountain of QAnon from the base, we shall prepare for our ascent. Allow me to be your spiritual Sherpa, and I will guide you to the summit of understanding. And yes, we will be answering the Qs on everyone's lips. Who is QAnon? And what are all those drops about? So whether you're a day one digital soldier, or you've already made up your mind that Q is nothing but a LARP, I implore you to keep watching the video. You just might be surprised what lies at the end of this rabbit hole. But beware, this journey is not going to be easy. Some of the things you'll learn in this video may be deeply distressing for you. In fact, in drop 142, Q writes,
The truth would put 99% of people in the hospital.
I'd say Q is probably exaggerating a bit here, but if you're willing to risk the possibility of severe ailment, then come with me, Patriot, and we shall press onward. Oh, but one last thing before we get started. It cannot be stressed enough that throughout this process there will be no easy answers. The reality of human affairs is messy, nuanced, and complicated, and the QAnon story is no exception. We will not satisfy ourselves with black and white, generalized thinking. As QAnon often says, you must expand your thinking. We must zoom back to see the full scope of the picture. In this pursuit, no political ideology will help us. Whether you're liberal or conservative, communist or capitalist, the question remains the same. Is QAnon fake or is QAnon real? The answer to that question exists outside the realm of what you personally believe. The only way to go down this rabbit hole is with an open mind. So without further ado, let's get started.
They openly showcase their symbolism. Therefore, they were sloppy.
A few months before the 2016 election, WikiLeaks started publishing thousands of private emails from the Gmail account of one John Podesta, who was Hillary Clinton's then campaign chair. 20,000 pages of emails got leaked, so naturally, the Anons of the internet got to work combing through each and every message, looking for dirt on Hillary Clinton or her campaign. And there was some pretty juicy stuff in there, like earlier drafts of speeches and evidence that Hillary got some CNN debate questions in advance. But the Anons weren't satisfied with those things. They knew there was something else hiding in those emails. And what they found were strange references to pizza, pasta, pesto, and cheese.
The realtor found a handkerchief. I think it has a map that seems pizza-related. Is it yours? They can send it if you want. I know you're busy, so feel free not to respond if it's not yours or if you don't want it.
A handkerchief with a map that seems pizza-related? Interesting.
Mary and John, I think you should give notice when changing strategies which have been long in place. I immediately realized something was different by the shape of the box, and I contemplated who would be sending something in a square-shaped box. Lo and behold, instead of pasta and wonderful sauces, it was a lovely, tempting assortment of cheeses. Yummy. Hey, John. We know you're a true master of cuisine, and we've appreciated that for years. But walnut sauce for the pasta? Mary, please tell us the straight story. Was the sauce actually very tasty?
Was the sauce actually very tasty? These guys sure do love Italian food. Or maybe they're speaking in code. Well, friend, perhaps you are too innocent and good-hearted to know, but in the early days of 4chan, there was an archetypical thread that looked something like this. CP, child born, or cheese pizza, if you wanted plausible deniability. In the world of 4chan, this is a very well-known euphemism. So ubiquitous that the Anons believed the Podestas were using a version of their own code word in the leaked emails. To the Anons on 4chan, this made total sense. They even wrote a list of other culinary code words and some possible interpretations. Once you decide that pizza means something like child sex slave, then sure, it follows that maybe pasta means little boy sex slave. Why not? Walnut sauce? This Anon speculated that phrase might mean an orgy of colored children. What, you got a better idea? Leave a comment below if you got a better idea. To the Anons, an elaborate system of pedophile code words was the only plausible explanation for a handful of mildly bizarre email correspondences. I mean, come on. Giving somebody a box of pasta as a gift? No normal person would ever do that. Not even Mary the Pesto Queen Podesta, whose cooking has been a staple of Democratic fundraising for nearly 2 decades. She's cooked pasta and peeled vegetables for more candidates than she can keep track of. So then again, maybe it isn't all that weird that this Italian family emailed each other about pasta. And when they talk about pizza, yeah, I guess it could be the 4chan pedophile code word. Or maybe they're just talking about one of the slices served over at Comic Ping Pong, a local DC pizzeria owned by a close friend of the Podestas, and which often held fundraising events for their campaigns. Is it strange to email a pizza man about pizza and Pesto Mary about sauces? Extremely suspicious, in fact. The Anons were resolute. Once they decided that all references to Italian cooking were actually cryptic allusions to child sex abuse, these emails began to tell a completely different, much darker story.
I have the fixings for pasta with broccoli and anchovies and salad. Sound okay? Or do you want meat or fish?
Is Podesta merely preparing for dinner? Perhaps. Or maybe he's plotting an unspeakable violent sexual crime against a child. God only knows the depravity and evil encoded in broccoli, anchovies, meat, and fish. You may be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I'm not convinced that the word pizza in these instances necessarily means child sex slave. Sure, on 4chan there's a similar euphemism for child porn. They're not even really the same here, are they? I'm no brainiac, but you need the full phrase cheese pizza to get child porn. If it's just pizza or pasta, then you've just got porn. And regular porn isn't that bad, even if Pesto Mary is giving it to people in boxes for Christmas. Plus, okay, let's say it is code. The word pizza could be code for all kinds of stuff. Maybe a handkerchief with a map that seems pizza related is code for drugs, petty white-collar crimes, or confidential campaign information. Or maybe it's something like this. Maybe it was Pirate Day at Comet Ping Pong. You have to make a series of huge unjustified leaps to get from pasta to pizza to porn to child sex slaves. And it's an even tougher sell when you're surrounded by so much actual pizza, pasta, and pesto that these Italian brothers might be referencing. You may also be saying to yourself, sure, there are many very real criticisms of the Clinton campaign that we can make, but we need not delude ourselves with this absurd email codex fantasy game where we arbitrarily assign pedophile terms to Italian food. Why would a presidential campaign manager send casual emails about his child sex slaves to his family? You may be thinking all those things, but the Anons were so excited that they didn't have the time to think those things. A grassroots movement was forming in real time, and it was unstoppable. An alliance of autists who couldn't help but find the patterns in a set of random data. They decoded everything and anything they possibly could in those emails, and arrived at the only sensible conclusion. The Democratic Party was operating a global child sex trafficking network out of DC pizzeria Comet Ping Pong. It wasn't yet front page news, but at the time we already knew that Epstein and Ghislaine were trafficking young girls to be sexually abused by rich and powerful people. There was an actual breaking story of real child sex trafficking that seemed to involve high-level U.S. politicians, celebrities, and a megalomaniacal psychopath with an egg-shaped penis. But the Anons wanted a different one, a more exciting one, where they got to be involved and help solve the crimes by decoding secrets. But now that all the emails had been decoded, the fun was over. Or was it?
Got popcorn? Enjoy the show.
Donald Trump won the 2016 presidential election, and the Anons were ecstatic, for surely this bombastic outsider who routinely stokes "lock her up" chants at his rallies will bring about swift justice to the pedophilic child sex trafficking Democratic Party. Surely Donald Trump knows about the pizza codes. He even told Hillary Clinton that she'd be in jail if he won.
So we're going to get a special prosecutor, and we're going to look into it, because you know what? People have been, their lives have been destroyed for doing 1/5 of what you've done.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
But no, nobody got locked up. Trump never even bothered to appoint the special prosecutor for Hillary Clinton. In fact, child sex trafficking arrests have continued to go down ever since Trump got into office. Maybe Trump didn't know about the pizza codes after all. Or maybe maybe there were no pizza codes, and they really were just talking about pizza, pasta, and pesto. That would be so boring.
You guys know what this represents?
Tell us, sir.
I don't know, maybe it's the calm before the storm.
What's the storm?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
Whoa, wait a minute, guys. Was that a freaking code? Holy crap. Nobody in the mainstream media seemed to know what Donald Trump meant by the storm, but this confirmed it. Not only were the pizza codes real, but President Trump was also speaking in codes. He must have good guy codes to fight the bad guy codes. The calm before the storm? Well, there's only one thing that could be code for. And on October 28th, 2017, Q arrived on the scene to let us know.
Hillary Clinton will be arrested between 7:45 a.m. - 8:30 a.m. EST on Monday morning on October 30th, 2017. HRC extradition already in motion effective yesterday with several countries in case of cross-border run. Passport approved to be flagged effective 10/30 at 12:01 a.m. Expect massive riots organized in defiance and others fleeing the U.S. to occur. USMs will conduct the operation while NG activated. Proof check. Locate a NG member and ask if activated for duty 10/30 across most major cities.
The day they'd all been waiting for was finally at hand. Sure, no one knew who this random anonymous poster was, but they did know one thing. Hillary Clinton was definitely going to be arrested, so this guy must be telling the truth. The Anons who participated in the pizza decoding project knew what was going on, but initially this poster was met mostly with skepticism and derision by the more jaded veterans of 4chan. But their doubts were quickly put to rest when exactly on cue Monday morning at 7:45 a.m., as predicted, Hillary Clinton was placed into handcuffs and marched to Guantanamo Bay to be hanged for treason and high crimes against humanity. Wait a minute, I'm sorry, I misread the teleprompter. That should be, the skeptics were vindicated when Hillary Clinton was not arrested at the prescribed date and time. Okay. And no, the National Guard wasn't actually activated in any major cities across America. And you're telling me there weren't massive riots or people trying to flee the country either? The Anons were disappointed, because for Hillary Clinton, October 30th, 2017 turned out to just be a regular Monday. But the next day, Q returned and tried to cheer up the Anons.
There are more good people than bad. The wizards and warlocks, inside term, will not allow another satanic evil boss control our country. The corruption that will come out is so serious that deals must be cut for people to walk away, otherwise 70% of elected politicians would be in jail.
Wait a minute. There are more good guys than bad guys, but 70% are bad guys? I'm no Einstein. That means that only 30% are good guys. 30% good guys isn't more than 70% bad guys. Q didn't explain what he meant by this, but he did give the Anons another day to look forward to. Finally, another day to look forward to.
11.3, Podesta indicted.
This time it must really be happening. The storm is coming, finally, and they only had to wait a few more days. As the ominous clouds of revolution rolled in on the horizon, the hitherto anonymous poster introduced himself to the world. No longer was he just a regular guy posting on 4chan anonymously. Now, he was Q Clarence Patriot.
My fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days you will undoubtedly realize that we are taking back our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. In God's order, We have initiated certain fail-safes that shall safeguard the public from the primary fallout, which is slated to occur 11.3 upon the arrest announcement of Mr. Podesta. Actionable 11.4. Confirmation to the public of what is occurring will then be revealed and will not be openly accepted. Public riots are being organized in serious numbers in an effort to prevent the arrest and capture of more senior public officials. In Podesta's order, a state of temporary military control will be actioned and special ops carried out. We will be initiating the emergency broadcast system, and during this time, in an effort to provide a direct message, avoiding the fake news, to all citizens. Certain laws have been pre-lifted to provide our great military the necessary authority to handle and conduct these operations, at home and abroad.
The Anons were ecstatic to hear that the president had unilaterally pre-lifted enough laws for him to take military control of the nation so as to extrajudicially arrest his political opponents. The good guys were definitely winning. How about that EMS? That's pretty cool. Soon everybody in America would know the truth, not just the guys in this thread on 4chan. And all they had to do was wait 3 days until November 3rd, the day of reckoning.
Proof to begin 11.3.
Yup, all will be revealed on November 3rd. The storm shall come and Q shall be proven to be real.
The only way is the military, fully controlled. Save and spread, once 11.3 verifies his first marker. Biggest advanced drop on Powell.
I literally have goosebumps. It's finally happening. It was T-minus 24 hours, and Q gathered his patriots to let them know that the time had come.
The time has come to take back our great land. The time is now. Rest assured, Podesta is backed by the absolute finest people alive who are all dedicated to the eradication of evil and corruption from the US/world. Find peace. God is with us. God bless and be safe. The WH.
The WH? Are you freaking kidding me? That's gotta be the White House. Holy crap, this is truly a time we shall remember for the rest of our lives. Tomorrow, every man, woman, and child will know we were right about the pizza codes. Huh? What's this?
I'm being advised actions have created accelerated counteractions. We have not yet ascertained the scope of the attack. Watch the news outlets. Should the lights go out, please know we are in control. Do not panic. We are prepared and assets are in place. God bless. I must go for good at this point.
Q is gone for good? Holy crap. And now he's telling us to watch the news to stay informed? I thought all that stuff was fake. I guess if Q is gone, then the next best thing is to watch the news. Anyway, the Anons knew the rest was in God's hands now. That night, no one got any sleep, for the storm was truly upon us. November 3rd, 2017. What did our great Commander-in-Chief do on this date to initiate the Great Awakening? Well, my fellow patriots, he flew to Hawaii, where he had a pleasant visit to Pearl Harbor and threw large white pikake flower petals in the waters below, peering down as they drifted away. And in the continental states, none of the stuff Q said was gonna happen really happened. No riots, no arrests, no social media blackouts, no deployment of the National Guard or the military. Nothing at all that could be considered proof that Q was telling the truth about anything. And for John Podesta, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, and Jeffrey Epstein, it was just a regular Friday. We didn't even get that cool EMS thing. Why would Q lie about so many things from the very beginning, after specifically saying that predicting the dates of coming events was how he was going to establish credibility.
Dates, impending actions are deliberately provided for authenticity.
We've been duped!
Duped!
Bamboozled!
We've been smeckledorfed!
That's not even a word, and I agree with you.
You might have suspected that QAnon faded into obscurity after all of his initial predictions failed to come to pass. But you would be wrong. Because among the numerous things Q lied about was the claim that he must go for good. In fact, he posted again literally 30 minutes later, and kept posting thousands and thousands of times over the course of the next 3 years, and also still to this day. Q was in it for the long haul, but quickly he learned he was gonna have to stop choosing specific dates for the predictions, because there's only so many objectively false claims that even the most autistic anons would tolerate. In lieu of dates, Q offered codes.
Things need to be solved to understand what is about to happen. Let's start W/Alice in Wonderland. Hillary Clinton in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Saudi Arabia, The Bloody Wonderland. Snow White. Wizards and Warlocks.
Now those are some codes. But even if you didn't like Q's codes, you were encouraged to find your own codes.
Nothing is random. Everything has meaning.
Stick with Q, and the whole world could be codes. Q convinced the Anons to connect any two dots that felt right. Any suspicions or inklings were true. Their intuition trusted Q, and Q told them to trust their intuition. So that settled it. Q was infallible. Anytime he was objectively wrong, the Anons would rationalize it as intentional misinformation to throw off the bad guys. But like, isn't Hillary Clinton pretty much the #1 bad guy in the QAnon universe? How would it throw her off to tell her that she's been arrested when obviously she knows that she hasn't been? Plus, Q has then immediately outed himself as an unreliable source of information. So why would the cabal pay any attention to future posts? You can't have it both ways. Either Q is there to drop real intel to inform the Anons, or he's there to drop fake intel to trick the pedos. But most importantly, nobody reads Q drops except the followers of Q. I hate to break it to you guys, but the global elite is not lurking on Paul. Any intentional disinformation aimed at the cabal would be a total waste of time, and would also serve to fundamentally discredit the primary purpose of the supposed operation, which is to disseminate truth to the Anons. Just look at the sheer cognitive dissonance as leading QAnon influencer and grifter extraordinaire, Praying Medic, tries to explain the original Q posts.
The promised arrest of Hillary Clinton, back here, did not happen on October 30th. So why would anybody follow Q if Q made a prediction that didn't come to pass? Well, let's keep going, shall we?
Let's keep going. What? Why? That's the question. Why should we keep going? This is precisely the thing you need to explain, and you just skip right over it. This video is an hour long, and he never returns to address this topic. To the Anons, the fact that Q was intentionally posting lies from the very beginning didn't mean that he also wasn't a trustworthy source of information. Q wasn't lying to the Anons, he was lying to the cabal, just like they did with the Podesta emails. The Anons used incredible acrobatic feats of logic and reasoning to keep their fantasy alive. No matter what Q posted, they'd always find a way to fit it into the narrative.
Watch the water.
This could mean literally anything. Our planet is mostly water. Humans are mostly water. Water is everywhere, in all situations and all contexts. But sure enough, the Anons cracked the code. Can you guess what Q was referring to here? Go ahead. Truly try to guess what the Anons decided Q was talking about here. Okay, ready? Here it goes.
Japanese companies have announced investments in the United States worth more than $8 billion, 17,000 jobs. Thank you. They don't have water. That's okay. What? Oh, it's okay. Oh.
Water bottle, Fiji water bottle, Fiji, a nation composed of 330 islands, one of which was previously owned by Claire Bronfman, who was a member of the sex cult Nexium. Nexium was presumed to be a subsection/adjacent organization to the DC Pizzeria operation. Boom, we're back to child sex slaves. The Anons were like a robotic basketball hoop. No matter where QAnon shot the ball, it was always a swish. The fact that none of the stuff Q was talking about was actually happening in real life, and still hasn't happened for years now, never discouraged the Anons. Heck, maybe Hillary Clinton was arrested. How do we really know anything? Is that an ankle bracelet? Sure, why not? Maybe that's just an actor playing Hillary Clinton in a video, and the real one is in Guantanamo Bay. Maybe all these videos are deep fakes. Anons understood that technology was so advanced now, they could truly believe whatever they wanted. The news could literally be fake, scripted, directed, and acted. It was all a fun movie they could decode together as friends and forget about being sad. But the Anons who followed Q began to slip away from reality. QAnon offered them a simpler world, where everybody was either a good guy or a bad guy. The world was easier to understand when you thought about everything like that. Besides, it's not like they were being the bad guys. They were being the good guys. Because the good guys don't have to worry about depression, anxiety, trauma, loneliness, career dissatisfaction, sickness, social isolation, poverty, addiction, dysphoria, anhedonia, spiritual emptiness, or any of that kind of stuff. Good guys fight the bad guys, because the bad guys are the ones who cause all that stuff anyway. Plus, Q was totally owning the libs. The Anons had made up their mind. They enlisted in this great battle against darkness, but this was not a regular war. This was a digital war.
Prepare messages of reassurance based on what was dropped here to spread in different platforms.
The Anons had received their instructions straight from the top. QAnon could only get the good news this far. Now it was up to them to spread the truth across the internet and into the real world. And they would do that by sharing memes on Twitter, live streaming on YouTube, and selling books on Amazon. Any information channel that wasn't being censored by the cabal. The process went like this. Q drops the crumbs. The Anons collect the crumbs. The crumbs are baked into bread. The bread is broken and shared across the internet. Sure, the metaphor doesn't really work because you don't use crumbs to bake bread. Maybe instead of crumbs, you guys could say that Q drops yeast, flour, warm water, salt, oil, and sugar. Then you really could bake bread. Leave a comment below with your favorite type of bread. Anyway, the Anons were at war. They pretended to join the army by putting star emojis in their Twitter bios. They recorded selfie videos taking a QAnon oath. And on all fronts, they rained their memes down upon the enemy like hellfire.
Ready the memes. Attention on deck. Memes at the ready. Lock on target. Fire at will.
Nope, they definitely weren't LARPing. This was war. And as their memes moved down the pipeline, where they would ultimately arrive at the timelines of boomers in quarantine, Slowly but surely, what was once a small inner circle of apostles had grown into an international community of fervent believers. Q was becoming more powerful every day, and all it took was a little suspension of disbelief and some poorly made memes. As the QAnon movement grew in size, there were constantly new people getting involved who completely missed the whole Hillary Clinton not getting arrested thing. So if that major glaring inconsistency wasn't an issue for the people who witnessed it firsthand, then it definitely wasn't an issue with the new guys. Besides, Q kept giving you more things to look forward to, so you would never be disappointed for long when the previous one didn't come true. Each and every month, Q would have a little fun epithet to keep morale high.
Full-scale attack. March Madness. Prepare. Or April showers. 'Tis the season of treason. Nay, never stop fighting. June ETA. July 2018, the month the world discovered the truth. The month of August is traditionally very hot. I hereby proclaim September 2018 as National Preparedness Month. October surprise or surprises being prepped and warmed.
Wait a minute, we're back in October already? It's been 12 months of silly epithets and still no arrests? That's a whole year of disappointment. Another Halloween was approaching. Would the Anon spend it once again waiting in the metaphorical pumpkin patch of belief? Yes.
Hey, aren't you going to wait and greet the great pumpkin? Huh? It won't be long now. If the great pumpkin comes, I'll still put in a good word for you. Good grief, I said if. I meant when he comes. I'm doomed. One little slip like that can cause the great pumpkin to pass you by. Oh, great pumpkin, where are you?
The Anons believed everything. I mean, after all, this guy had Q clearance. Q clearance, if you don't know, is what they give the highest level, top secret guys in the military. Oh wait, I misread my teleprompter again. That should be Q clearance is a designation given to people in the United States Department of Energy who have access to classified and confidential information in that department. You know, stuff related to energy. I guess the stuff QAnon is posting isn't actually the classified information that he has access to under his Q clearance, because leaking that information onto 8chan will be considered a federal crime or even treason under the Espionage Act. But it's okay, because Q never really does talk about energy stuff. It's mostly just harmless codes and questions. But then why even call yourself Q? Maybe he just picked Q, because it's like that guy in the movies.
I'll hazard I can do more damage on my laptop sitting in my pajamas before my first cup of Earl Grey than you can do in a year in the field.
Oh, so why do you need me?
Every now and then a trigger has to be pulled.
Or not pulled. It's hard to know which in your pajamas. Q.
Or that other guy on TV.
Would you mind identifying what you are?
Call ourselves the Cube. Well, thou means call me that. It's all much the same thing.
Q seems to really like TV and movies. He posts a lot about his favorite movies, including Alice in Wonderland, Snow White, The Hunt for Red October, Iron Eagle, Karate Kid, and Godfather 3. But QAnon's favorite movie is this movie.
They sailed for different reasons.
I don't want to be what I was when I left.
There you go.
Anonymous.
But there was only one way.
We'll do it together. I can't.
Climb! to survive on his ship.
I will challenge them, and they will come together.
Become a team.
Where we go one, we go all.
Because where he was taking them...
What are they doing?
Claiming their place in the world.
...could not be measured in miles. They thought they had survived the greatest challenge of their lives.
We had come through every kind of seas imaginable.
Except a white squall.
But it was only...
White squalls are a phenomenon of the imagination.
The calm.
What happened to my ship was not imagined.
Before the storm.
I guess QAnon really likes that movie. QAnon liked movies so much, he turned real life into a movie.
Ask yourself an honest question. Why would a billionaire who has it all, fame, fortune, a warm and loving family, friends, etc. want to endanger himself and his family by becoming pious? Why would he want to target himself and those he cares about? Does he need money? Does he need fame? What does he get out of this? Does he want to make the US/world a better place for his family and for those good and decent people who have long been taken advantage of? Perhaps he could not stomach the thought of mass murders occurring to satisfy Moloch. Perhaps he could not stomach the thought of children being kidnapped, drugged, and raped, while leaders/law enforcement of the world turn a blind eye. Perhaps he was tired of seeing how certain races/countries were being constantly abused and kept in need/poor/and suffering all for a specific purpose. Perhaps he could not in good conscience see the world burn. Why, hours after the election, did 7 people travel to an undisclosed location to hold a very private and highly secured/guarded meeting? Why didn't HRC give a concession speech? When was the last time a presidential candidate didn't personally give a concession speech?
Wait a minute. Hillary Clinton did give a concession speech. Oh yeah, I forgot. That's not Hillary Clinton. That's the body double they got, cause Hillary's in Guantanamo Bay or something. Sometimes it's hard to keep it all straight in my brain. Anyway, as you can see, Q continues to dramatically raise the stakes. Here he is implying that the primary reason Trump ran for president was to end the abuse, poverty, and suffering of other races and countries. But it seems to me like Trump is mostly focused on our country. Weren't his campaign slogans, "Make America Great Again," "America First," and "Keep America Great"? If his campaign slogan was "End Suffering in Haiti," then maybe you'd have a point. But it's really a tough sell here, Q. And what was that about mass murders of children occurring to satisfy Moloch? Is Q really just gonna brush over that? But if I'm reading this right, then the White House of America is talking to me directly through my computer on this Japanese porn site. The one where the banner says, "The stories and information posted here are artistic works of fiction and falsehood. Only a fool would take anything posted here as fact." You're telling me that the commander-in-chief of the most powerful military in the history of the world is communicating to me directly through a series of rhetorical questions the idea that everything I know is a lie, the world is full of codes, and I must make memes to help save children who are being sacrificed on a massive scale to Moloch by Hillary Clinton and John Podesta in the pizza shop? Q is right. I probably would need a hospital if that was my mission. But even though they believed it, 99% of the Anons didn't need a hospital. They didn't need anything except Photoshop to make memes. They were finally free as a butterfly from the brain control of the cabal, and they had never felt better. Participating in the Great Awakening filled their day with meaningful enterprise, so they didn't have to think about the depression, anxiety, loneliness, career dissatisfaction, trauma, social isolation, poverty, addiction, or spiritual emptiness. Remember, the cabal was causing all that stuff anyway. And sometimes the cabal was merciless.
What's up, Q? Please tell me my life will get better. Growing tired of need hope.
We are winning bigly.
Notice the way he said bigly. That's the way Donald Trump says it. That Anon's life must have automatically got way better, because it seems like Donald Trump was probably talking to him on 4chan. That's a pretty good reason to not commit suicide.
Been sober for over 100 days, planning to end that. Finally going to kill myself. Fuck all this. Been here since the start, too.
Patriot, your country needs you. You are not alone. God is love. 2018 will be glorious.
For some Anons, the Great Awakening was all they had, and Q had taken on a truly messiah-like position in their minds.
Dear Q, Jesus was fucking pissed at his apostles most of the time because they were stupid fucks at the time that couldn't piece together even the most basic clue. We are no different, and we are even more clueless. We are trying, but you really do have to spell it out for us. Sorry, we believe you are speaking the truth. To whom else can we turn? So put up with our shit and help us, and we'll do what you ask.
Sniffer drugs would kill the site. Everything has to be carefully crafted and tooled prior to release. Godspeed, Patriot.
Ah, yes. Just like when Moses got the 10 Commandments from God, everything had to be carefully crafted prior to release. We wouldn't want any intel that's poorly crafted to get leaked through this extremely important military channel in the greatest information drop in history, the plan to literally save the world from an ancient demon-worshipping cabal of supervillains. We certainly would want to make sure that this intel is carefully crafted. But everybody makes some mistakes.
11.6 Human-minded. Friday and Saturday will deliver on the MAGA promise. Also, he's 100% insulated with zero risk of impeachment. Fact. Phone numbers will be provided if you witness an uprising or other domestic violence, in addition to 911. Be vigilant today and expect a major false flag. Look to Twitter. Exactly this, my fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. Podesta's plane has military escort, and is being diverted, forced down. By the time Boris returns from this trip, the world will be a different place. 10 days. Darkness. Be here tomorrow. The story unfolds. Good time to prosecute. Just wait until next week. HRC tried to cut a deal today. We said no. Clock started -10 days. The flood is coming. Emails, videos, audio, pics, etc. If the stage set for a drop of HRC rotted. When we are done, he'll claim Kenyan citizenship as a way to escape. Hope will be having a terrible day. Pics will surface of Hussein holding AK-47 in tribal attire. What will next week hold? MOA me. They will use black vote once they be revealed. 11.11 provided as strategic marker. Post midterms. Red wave coming. A week to remember. Dark to light. Blackout necessary. Something big is about to drop. Something big is about to drop. Something big is about to drop. Expect comes blackout attempt. August 3rd. Let the unsealing begin. Let the necklace begin. Let the world witness the truth. Be alert next 10 days. FF attempts may be carried out in attempts to change narrative. It's about to happen. Be vigilant. Waterfall of proofs coming. Post necklace. Indictments coming. 2019. Something big is coming. Boom week ahead.
Okay, you're telling me this much disinformation is necessary? Leave a comment below if you can explain to me why Q had to lie about all this stuff. What could this possibly accomplish for the Q mission? Anyway, after an incredibly consistent string of failed predictions, both specific and general, the Q team realized they only had one remaining option: total gibberish. That was the only way to create a truly unfalsifiable narrative. If Q just banged randomly on a keyboard, he could never be wrong.
27-1 yes USA 94 to 27-1 yes USA 58 a 27-1 yes USA 0-4 conf Y 56 3 why the castle runs red yes Godspeed.
How could the haters dab on Q now that they didn't even know what the heck he was talking about? What does this post mean? Does it mean Hillary Clinton has been arrested? Whatever happened to her? Isn't that what this whole thing is about? Anyway, who cares? Don't think about it. It looks like some cool military code or something. Maybe it's for other guys in the military to see it, and you're not really supposed to get it. Then again, why even bother posting it on 4chan then?
Oh, yeah. I know some of these words.
And that, dear friends, was the last time QAnon posted on 4chan. He really went out with a bang. 100% pure, unadulterated codes. I guess it was the natural conclusion to an arc of increasing crypticness. A reasonable ending point. But, yet again, QAnon was just getting started. Yes, that was the last time he posted on 4chan, but not the last time he posted. Q would soon move to another website, an even worse website. A website twice as bad as 4chan, 8chan, and this website would be Q's forever home.
This board has more power and influence than anyone comprehends.
Before we can understand 8chan though, we must first understand 4chan. Why did the US military pick 4chan instead of, say, Reddit, Blogger, something awful, 9gag, funny junk, E-bombs world, or eFucked? Why didn't Q just make his own website using Squarespace and their easy drag and drop tools and pre-made template designs? Maybe Squarespace would give you a discount because you're the US military and the president. Squarespace, please sponsor this video. But the military didn't want to make their own website for the most significant intel drop in the history of the world. No, to best facilitate their mission to save the planet, the military would rely on America's 1079th most popular website, 4chan.org.
They call themselves anonymous. They are hackers on steroids, treating the web like a real-life video game, sacking websites, invading MySpace accounts, disrupting innocent people's lives.
They get laughs. They enjoy doing this. They get what they call lulz.
Lulz is a corruption of LOL, which stands for laugh out loud. Anonymous gets big lulz from pulling random pranks. For example, messing with online children's games like Habbo Hotel. The pranks are often anti-Semitic or racist, and always posted on the internet.
4chan. You'll forgive me if I get a bit sentimental. Back when I was just a tadpole, 4chan was a really special and kind of scary website. On 4chan, anybody could post anything they wanted, and each totally anonymous voice was given equal volume. In the old days, there was a genuinely special kind of creative energy. Sure, the humor was edgy, and the Anons crossed the line many times, but they were mostly just kids. After all, the website was founded by a 15-year-old and his buddies from another forum called Anime Death Tentacle Rape Whorehouse. Believe it or not, pretty much all of the classic memes came from 4chan. But the trade-off of this potent creative energy was that every time you refresh the page, you were just as likely to see something hilarious and novel as you were to see horrible pictures of violence, gore, and sexual depravity. Another notable byproduct of this anonymity is that even from the start, got a lot of people who posted on there pretending to be somebody different than the person they really were. The extent of people LARPing as interesting characters to receive undue attention on 4chan was so great that when the early Anons published the rules of the internet, 7 of them pertain to this very subject. 4chan used to have an extremely sharp bullshit detector. Pics or it didn't happen was the most common refrain anytime anybody claimed anything. And even if you did post pics, they probably still didn't believe you. In the old days, it was tough to fool the Anons. They were the ones fooling other people. They were the top of the fool hierarchy. Perhaps the highest art form on 4chan was the delicate practice of luring attention by very subtly pretending to be someone interesting and spinning a story that is right on the verge of being too compelling to believe. You earn the trust of your listener, and then at the last minute you reveal your subterfuge in glorious fashion. Here is an example from the golden age of 4chan.
At 9:45 on the morning of November 15th, 2007, at Fox News' headquarters in New York City, there will be a brief power outage. Then, everything will appear to return to normal. I will have used the outage, however, to sneak my 4 2-liter bottles of potassium cyanide and a container with 0.5 liters as I combine the 2 deadly ingredients and release a noxious gas that will poison everyone in the lobby. People will shriek in horror. Children will cry for their lives. My mommy will get scared and say,
"You're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air."
Not perfect, but a pretty good job. A bit too unbelievable from the get-go, and I'd say the transition was too abrupt. Here's another example of early Anons trolling normies.
Stephen says, growing up on the mean streets of West Philadelphia, I never dreamed that I would even be able to own TV equipment to view a channel such as yours. Upon one of my many visits back to West Philadelphia before the recession hit, I visited the playground where I spent most of my days shooting some basketball, but also just chilling out and relaxing.
I don't think that story is genuine. I think the guy's a clown. He's a joker. He's been sending that material to all the programs.
Oh, right, okay, well, let's delete him.
Okay.
My name is Martin from Canvey in Essex. I'm 17 of slowly becoming a regular viewer. Just like to say it's such a shame there's cynicism directed to your channel, which only wants to help its fellow members of the flock. When will people learn that God will never give up on them and never let them down? Thanks always. Keep up the show. Thanks very much for that.
Chef's kiss. As these Anons understood, the whole point of LARPing anonymously was that blissful moment of lulz, when you pull the rug out from under the patsy. But QAnon has been going for years now and still hasn't transitioned into the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song lyrics. What's he waiting for? Or maybe QAnon wasn't in it for the lulz. Maybe he was in it for something else. By 2017, 4chan had changed significantly. Many of the original Anons had grown up and left. So-called Bel-Airing and the rules of the internet had become long-forgotten memories. What was once a spirit of chaotic creativity and a fun-at-all-costs attitude had been replaced by bitterness, paranoia, and conspiracy. 4chan was no longer a place for teens to have angsty juvenile fun. Now it was a place for adults to commiserate and escape the despair of their lives. In the months leading up to QAnon, there were numerous less successful LARPs in the exact same vein as Q. There was FBI Anon, High-Level Insider Anon, CIA Anon, CIA Intern Anon, and White House Insider Anon. They all appeared and started baselessly claiming to have high-level insider knowledge and offered cryptic predictions of coming events. And because the collective Anon hive mind had long forgotten about those rules of the internet, nobody replied, "Pics or it didn't happen." Modern 4chan users were happy to entertain the possibility of these LARPs being real, if it meant their evening of shitposting was somehow more cool or meaningful. Okay, so Q found his core audience on 4chan, so why did he leave? Well, nobody knows exactly why Q did switch from 4chan to 8chan. Q claims that the former was infiltrated, Well, what does that really mean? But that's okay because 8chan was more than happy to host. So what the heck is 8chan, you ask? Well, friend, while stripping on psilocybin mushrooms, a 4chan user called Frederick Brennan decided to make a website like 4chan, but with even less censorship, a true home of free speech, a blank page on the internet where anyone could post literally anything, as long as it wasn't specifically illegal. A beautiful utopian dream. But after he'd come down from the drugs and got the website up and running, the only people who actually posted there were the ones who got banned from 4chan. It immediately became a rat's nest of white supremacists, neo-Nazis, and, you guessed it, pedophiles. Fred was full of deep regret and quickly sold the website to a guy who didn't really have the capacity for regret. A pig farmer named Jim Watkins.
1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 1 is me and you and you. Math is what the whole world and the whole universe is based on.
After Jim took ownership of 8chan, numerous mass shooters used the site to discuss and spread their manifestos before committing their acts of violent terrorism.
Condolences from myself and my business and my family to the victims of the Norwegian mosque attack shooting. I want them to know that myself and my company had nothing to do with it.
The Christchurch mosque shooter even posted the video of him slaughtering 51 people on 8chan right after he did it. Do the world a favor and shut it off, said Fred. But why would Jim do that? With the massive influx of QAnon followers, the website was growing exponentially. Sure, Jim didn't really understand what all these people were talking about, but he was happy to have them. And despite their newfound Nazi and pedophile neighbors, the QAnon followers quickly settled into their new home. Hey, if it was good enough for the US military, it was good enough for them.
All for a LARP? Attacks will only intensify. Ask yourself, why?
Q keeps posting thousands of times more on 8chan. But I'll be honest with you guys, it gets pretty boring. It's not really worth reading the rest of the Q drops. In fact, Q himself claims the intel drop was over by Q drop 364.
Follow the crumbs. You had all enjoyed the show.
So what's the point of the other 4,300 plus posts? The vast majority of the operation. What's the point of so many vacuous messages like this?
You are being controlled. Sheep. Up is down. Left is right. Revolution. Truth. Trust the mission.
This one reads like a guy getting dragged out of a bar as he drunkenly screams at the confused patrons. Or check out this notorious case where Q got fooled by a meme.
MSDNC knowingly using fake footage. Then pushing America on fire narrative. Why? Enemy of the people.
Obviously this image is photoshopped. MSNBC did not use footage from World War Z and pretend that it's happening in real life. Come on, Q. The image even says not real on it. How did the president and the military not notice this? Late stage Q was truly a shadow of his former self.
Law enforcement should interview the therapists. Each shooter has one coincidentally. Targets.
This ain't it, Chief. Stick to the stuff you know works. Clintons, pedophiles, Satanists. Nobody's into your weird therapists are the real school shooters theory. Eventually Q kinda gives up and just lets the Anons do their own thing, taking more of a backseat cheerleader type of a role. He does his best to keep morale high, and the Anons insulated from reality.
You are the majority, by far, and growing. Fake news purpose is to project false narratives.
You can pretty much imagine what the rest of the posts are like. Q will go on like this, riffing on the news, pretending to be Trump, and hyping up his followers with vacuous clues and codes. Probably forever. And that pretty much brings us up to today. And back to the question at hand. Is the Q a LARP or a real military operation? Well, friend, there's one more part of the QAnon plan we haven't discussed yet. The proofs.
We've provided many proofs that cannot be disputed as coincidences. This was done for a reason.
Part of the military's plan was to package irrefutable evidence of Q's authenticity alongside the intel itself. These proofs came in many shapes and sizes, but they were all carefully crafted for maximum effectiveness. Let's take a look at some of the most persuasive ones. These are all proofs that QAnon himself has confirmed should stand as evidence of his authenticity. Okay, first of all, I just have to say that this meme could not be more confusingly organized. The counterclockwise color-coded and numbered system with arrows is just jaw-droppingly hard to navigate. The assertion here is that because Q used the extremely common phrase, chain of command, and then 2 days later the
Department of Defense
Twitter account tweeted an ad for a National Geographic show called Chain of Command, and then if you watch episode 1, there's one shot of a mug that has a Q on it. This is proof. It should be noted that the Q mug is not in the video that appears on Twitter. You have to actually watch the full episode. And if you do watch the full episode, you will realize that the Q stands for Quincy, Captain Quincy Baller, 101st Airborne Division. And yes, there is one extremely brief shot of his personal breakfast mug. If you truly believe that Captain Quincy's mug has anything to do with QAnon, let alone represents genuine military codes hidden in plain sight on a TV show owned by Disney, then you simply do not understand how the military, social media, or television production work. The military will never use free associative social media collages, including National Geographic TV show props, to communicate with you personally.
Coincidence? Has the error been corrected? Why not?
Is this a freaking joke? First of all, the tweet has been deleted, so you might say that yes, the error has been corrected. But again, just the idea that this is proof of anything is simply outrageous. The word memes makes no sense in this context of an agricultural roundtable. But even if Trump did simply tweet the word memes, memes have existed long before and will continue to exist long after QAnon. You are grasping at straws. Okay. Well, again, I don't think that this blurry up-close image of a pen and a piece of paper is really proof of anything. I guess it's proof that QAnon has a cool pen and a cool piece of paper. But anybody can have those things. Why not just take a selfie inside the Oval Office? Take a picture of Hillary Clinton inside Guantanamo Bay. A blurry picture of a pen doesn't mean that there's a secret civil war happening behind the scenes, and that you're a military dissemination program led by the president. Okay, it's another pen photo. We're just gonna skip this one. And it's another freaking pen photo. This time with Donald Trump's signature. And here's how you would do that in Photoshop. They even got the thickness wrong. This is clearly more like a Sharpie than a ballpoint pen. Also worth noting, none of these are Trump's pen. Trump uses a specific pen, and it's not this one.
It didn't take long for President Donald Trump to run out of the custom-made pens he uses to sign executive orders.
I think we're going to need some more pens, brother.
The pens are made by A.T. Cross, a 170-year-old New England company, which shipped a fresh batch of 350 pens to the White House this week.
Q, stop trying to make follow the pen happen. It's not gonna happen. Wait a minute. The crazy bastard actually did it. Q posted a link to a random tweet the very same minute that Trump tweeted about something unrelated on Twitter. Oh wait, hold on, no, what? 2 hours after? Or because of different time zones, maybe it's the same time? But Trump can't be in 2 time zones at the same time. Is this proof that they're not the same person? Okay, even if they were posted at the same time, A, who cares? B, check out this Twitter bot I made that gets 0 deltas with Trump every day. It's totally meaningless. 350,000 tweets are posted every minute. Can we assume that all those people are related? Absolutely not. If so-called deltas are persuasive to you, then you are simply mistaken. There are many more proofs that I don't have time to talk about, but they're all basically variations on these ones, and can all be explained away as meaningless coincidences if you think about them critically. And despite what Q likes to say, no amount of meaningless coincidences piled on top of each other will ever be proof of anything.
Follow the money. Who pulls the strings?
Okay, so if Q isn't really the president or the military or anything like that, then who is he? Well, friend, I must confess that no one knows for certain the identity of Q, but we have some pretty good guesses. First of all, remember that Q didn't have a trip code until drop 128. That means until then, literally anyone could post something in the style of Q, sign it as Q, and for all anyone knew, it was Q. There's an old saying on 4chan, you can't force a meme. Memes, including QAnon, must be born naturally from the chaos of anonymous image boards. I suspect we will never find out who truly posted the first few drops. At the very beginning, QAnon was an open source LARP, but shortly after, once the trip code was added, the Q character almost certainly fell under the control of a group of Anons called Patriot Soapbox, who ran a live stream network focused on hyping up and analyzing Q drops. They started only 6 days after the first Q post. We know they were involved because they made some mistakes. In one instance, a member of Patriot Soapbox named Coleman Rogers, aka Pamphlet Anon, was busted live on stream, analyzing a Q drop that had accidentally been posted without the trip code. Everybody in the chat pointed out that this was probably not a real Q drop since it lacked the distinguishing factor of all Q drops. But the streamers insisted it was real, and Q would later confirm this.
This was the first posted today. It read, Access kills. POTUS in good spirits today. Morning strolls are refreshing 2.5 hours. Anyway, here is what I find significant about this. Maybe. What do y'all think?
No doubt about it. You know what? I got a question for you, Pam. How come on my system I don't get that picture?
The Google bike rack thing.
Yeah.
It's not showing up on the Q post aggregator sites because Q posted, I think, by accident as an anon. He didn't use his strip code, so
Okay.
it didn't pull them. I'm guessing that's why. The whoever owns that site or those sites will have to add those in manually, since Q didn't use a strip code.
How would they know it was legit unless they posted it themselves? On another occasion, Pamphlet Anon was able to identify QAnon's trip code password and proceeded to post as QAnon all while live on his stream. The video has been meticulously scrubbed from the internet, but nobody denies it happened, not even him. Here's Pamphlet Anon trying to explain the incident.
So, alright, saw that post, and like I said, this is the second time this has happened with Q's trip code password being revealed in the name field. So I thought, like, there's no way Q did this again, but I better probably test it out so Q and the board owner are made aware of this. That's how it happened. So Q essentially left out this part and left the trip code password, which put in the trip code password, revealing it right up top.
But you still can't explain how he was able to immediately identify this text string as Q's password. Every other Anon just saw this post and thought it was somebody with a weird name. There was no reason to believe it was a trip code password at all, since it lacked a trip code signifier. But when Pamphlet Anon saw it live on stream, he immediately came to the conclusion that QAnon himself had accidentally posted his trip code password. How was Pamphlet Anon able to immediately recognize Q's password, unless he already knew the password? Patriot Soapbox and Pamphlet Anon were almost certainly behind QAnon at the outset. However, sometime around the move to 8chan, there seemed to be a new author at the helm. As I explained before, the style of posting and nature of the LARP changed pretty significantly. Plus, so many of the proofs became weird photos of pens, leather-bound notebooks, and watches, which is completely out of left field for Q. At the very least, there was a new member of the Q team, if not a total transfer of ownership. QAnon always says, follow the money. So let's try applying that here. Sure, Coleman Rogers was doing media spots with far-right conspiracy theory outlets, and Patriot Soapbox went on to become a 24-hour QAnon-centric news network. But who else was profiting? Remember, nobody knows why QAnon switched from 4chan to 8chan. Neither Q nor his followers can offer a real explanation for this. In the Q narrative, the only reason he chose 4chan initially was to have access to the massive hive mind of autists. But on 8chan, you don't have that. And when everyone just goes straight to qmap.pub to read the posts, you don't really have the Anons at all. Q would be better off using a secure cryptographic service like PGP or a Bitcoin address, but continues to rely on 8kun and trip code security for seemingly no reason. For those of you who don't know, secure trip codes like the one Q uses take a password as input and then use a randomizer which is powered by a security key stored on the server. 4chan and 8kun have different security keys. Admins can modify the security key at any time, effectively changing all trip codes on the site in a way that only they will be aware of. And because Jim Watkins is the sole administrator of 8kun, only he has the power to censor, edit, ban, or even take over the Q account whenever he wanted, and nobody would ever know the difference. For Jim, QAnon was a golden goose. The movement drove unprecedented traffic to his websites. The Great Awakening was also an opportunity to rebrand from being the guy apologizing for mass shootings to a brave patriot battling evil. Jim even created a super PAC called Disarm the Deep State aimed at electing QAnon supporters in Congress. Jim was taking QAnon to the bank, and then some. Maybe that's why Q chose 8chan to be the central hub of the Q movement, because he knew how much it would help out Jim. Sure is beneficial to have a team of thousands of Anons constantly working to reinforce the crumbling QAnon narrative infrastructure, fill the movement's ranks with new recruits, and publish free advertising for your websites all over the internet. But wait a minute, Jim Watkins isn't a high-level military insider on a mission to save America from a cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles. Jim Watkins is just a dorky pig farmer who likes to post about his collection of watches, leather-bound notebooks, and pens. The QAnon movement doesn't sustain itself naturally. What you need is a psychopath at the center of this to breathe life into the machine. A dungeon master, a wizard behind the curtain. For QAnon, that man is Jim Watkins.
And that was the last any of them ever saw of Oz, the wonderful wizard. Though he may have reached Omaha safely and be there now, for all we know, but the people remembered him lovingly and said to one another, "Oz was always our friend. When he was here, he built for us this beautiful Emerald City, and now he is gone, he left the wise Scarecrow to rule over us." Still, for many days they grieved over the loss of the wonderful wizard and would not be comforted.
Now, I would like to speak directly to you, the believer. You pride yourself on being able to handle tough truths. To be red-pilled is to accept the darkness of reality without sugarcoating it in fantasy. It's time you truly took that step and learned to accept that for the duration of however many months or years you've spent participating in the QAnon movement, you were being brainwashed. You were under the effects of mind control. Your very conception of reality was being intentionally manipulated to achieve someone else's goals. And the person who was manipulating you does not care about you. I will say it again. QAnon does not care about you. QAnon is exploiting you. Yes, like all cults, there are some positive qualities to QAnon. Your heart is in the right place, and many among you are good, decent patriots. In theory, your mission to expose powerful pedophiles is obviously noble, but you're going about it completely wrong. One of the most frustrating things about all this is, yes, back in 2017, the QAnon people were some of the only ones on the internet talking about Jeffrey Epstein. They were way ahead of the curve on that one. But somehow, some way, the story drifted way off course to become the ridiculous fantasy that it is today. The missing, trafficked, and sexually abused children of the world do need our help. QAnon offers them none. If you truly want to help these children in a meaningful way, consider donating to or volunteering at your local charities and community organizations, like this one, which actually had to add a section on their website condemning QAnon. QAnon promoters are parasites. We must speak out strongly against this. Just as education is the most powerful means we have to prevent child sex abuse and trafficking, education will be our most powerful weapon against the threat QAnon presents. All of us working in the field must join together and speak out loudly. If you truly want to put all this QAnon stuff behind you, the most important thing you can do right now is get off the freaking internet. QAnon needs to have its beam of influence hitting your brain constantly in order to keep the fantasy alive. Like all other hard drugs, there will be a period of detox and withdrawal, but you need to leave your insulated bubble of QAnon content cold turkey and let your brain heal. You don't owe anyone an apology or an explanation, but you do owe it to yourself to walk away. It's always okay to change your mind.